What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the WarnerCast. Thank you all for tuning in. This is episode 37. I am here joined by Colin, who, of
Uh,
course, got decked out in his Leafs jersey, forcing me to have to put on my Oilers jersey because I didn't want to look inferior. Both of our teams
hmm
won last night
Yeah.
in two questionable ways, but at least we won.
hmm
We will get into both of our teams' games, respectively, here in a few moments' time. However, we all know how this starts off. We're kicking off with some good old trivia. It is Colin's turn this time around. So, Colin, what do you have for me today?
Ooh, I have NHL contracts or like signings kind of thing.
Okay, so like just term and money improvement.
Yeah,
Okay.
term. Most of it is just like how much
Oh,
they made in that year, not like.
I'm sorry, the Leafs just nearly scored a goal. We both have the Leafs game on in the background right now. So,
hmm
anyways, sorry to cut you off. Yep, about
Most of
contracts.
it's just most of it's just like per year, like how much they made, like 6 million, 10 million, or whatever. Not like 40 million by 4 years. It's just usually every year, I think, for
Okay.
most of them.
All right. Well, let's get this started then. Question number one,
Okay.
please.
Question number one. What Atlanta Thrasher player signed the most expensive contract in their history?
Atlanta's weird because they
hmm
never kept anyone around for a long time, and they only existed for like 10 years before moving to Winnipeg. But
hmm
that doesn't mean they didn't have talent. And
hmm
so I'm actually gonna go with I think this is actually the correct answer. I think I have a backup option as I have two other backups as well, but I want to say the answer is Danny Heatley.
Yeah, it is.
I knew it because
hmm
I think it was I watched a video from I think it was Urinating Tree and he was talking about the Atlanta Thrashers and
Yeah.
he mentioned how Danny Heatley just signed a big contract and then there was a car accident that
Wow.
tragically killed one of his friends on the team and then he just didn't want to be in Atlanta after that and he got traded out. So
Hmm.
it's a dark way I found out about it, but yes, Danny Heatley is
Yeah.
number one. Also, just a fun fact contract wise, they also are the team who gave Ron Hainsey $4.5 million in 2009. Not in 2019, not in 2018 like the Leafs did. 2009. Like, he made half of what Sidney Crosby was getting paid on a contract signed like a couple years later. Like, Ron Hainsey, folks, was a paid man.
Oh yeah.
All right, give me question number two.
Okay. Question number two. What NHL player made the first $1 million in one season?
Oh, so we're talking 80s.
I don't think it was.
You think it? Do you think it's a recent one?
No, the first like NHL player to make $1 million in like one year, like in their contract.
Okay, so I know at one point in the 90s, Wayne Gretzky was making 3 million per year. So I know it's before that. Gordie Howe. Just gonna throw it out there.
No.
What is it?
Bobby Hall. Okay, so I
Ah,
searched this up, and this one's kind of weird. He signed with the WHA, but like, and it was
mm-hmm.
10 years, 1.5 million per year.
Oh wow.
I think, yeah.
WHA handing out that high of contracts before the NHL. I wonder why
hmm
they went bankrupt. I wonder why they ran out of money. I just wonder, right?
hmm
All right, number
Uh,
three.
Number three. What NHL player has gotten paid the most over multiple NHL seasons? So it's just like all of his contracts, like all together, added up. I don't need like the thing. I just need like the name. Like I don't need the number.
Okay, so we're thinking about players who we're probably looking for players who have played in the 2000 after the lockout. I'm looking for. I
Mhm.
think I'm looking for a player who started maybe slightly before the lockout and then played for like 20 years and was also an elite player. And I can't seem to think of one. And this is just like their player earnings. This isn't like endorsements or sponsorships, is it?
I'm pretty sure it's just player earnings. I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, actually, you know what? No. I know who I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for a guy who didn't just play after the lockout, but played like 15 years before that as well. It's Jaromir Jagr, isn't it?
Nope, it is not. I have
What?
Sidney Crosby.
Oh my god, I was going to say,
Mm-hmm.
I had him on my mind. I just figured, Jagr played like nearly 30
Yeah.
years in the league,
Mm-hmm.
so ah, dang. Well, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that does make sense. He's been making 8.7 for the entire
Oh
decade.
yeah.
He was
Mm-hmm.
paid. Oh, and the Leafs. Oh wow, what are the Leafs doing tonight? They are. We'll talk about them in a bit here. Just let's move on to question 4.
Okay. What NHL player got paid the most in one NHL season?
Which
And
player
how much was it?
in one season?
Yeah, so I'm just looking for like just one season. The contract wasn't necessarily one season, but I'm looking for just one season, like the most they made in one season.
Is this player still playing?
Uh, I have three players down, and two of them are currently playing.
I'm just gonna say Austin Matthews because I feel like he might be.
Yeah, you got it correct. The other guy was Joe Sakic and Mitch Marner at 16 million.
Oh my god! Three highest paid players in one season, and two of them are Leafs.
Yeah, that's just.
And we wonder why we wonder why they don't have enough scoring depth, eh? We wonder why the Canadians are the ones to shut them down offensively, as Colin has frozen. Oh, he's frozen. Oh no. Okay, he's back. Good.
Okay, yeah,
Freeze
I
frame
couldn't hear
button.
you either.
I, I
Yeah.
I was just talking about how, man, you pay that much money to two guys and you wonder why you don't have enough scoring depth on your roster in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, man, I'm tempted to. Okay, say your fifth question before I go on about this current game happening, because there's things I want to say.
Okay. Question number 5. What is okay, so this one is a buyout. I'm counting it as like a necessarily contract thing.
Okay.
Whatever. What is the most expensive NHL buyout and who was it with how many years
Are we talking per year, like in a single season, or are we just talking like accumulated all the entire buyout?
accumulated?
Oh
Or
man,
well, the buyout is still going on and he will be getting paid this much.
I,
Hello?
I want to say DPH, but at the same time, I don't think it's him because I don't. I think it was like 1 million until 2029. Ryan Suter or Zach Parise?
Nope.
Dang.
Vincent LeCavier, and he's going to be getting, and it's 33 million over 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like,
Jeez, that's a lot. That's a lot for Vinny
mm-hmm,
Lecavier.
mm-hmm. I don't think he's getting I don't know if like the bio if they finished it or if it's
Oh,
still
they
going on.
would.
I'm pretty sure it's still going, but
It
I'm
was
not
over.
sure.
It was 4 years, right?
Huh?
It was 4 years he was getting paid that, right?
14. So I'm pretty sure it's still going. Like I checked it, and I think it's still
Oh,
going.
you know what I think it might be? It might be one of those buyouts where after such a long time, the NHL has just said, no, we're not going to make you pay it. It's like Rick DiPietro.
Yeah.
Like right now, they're still internally paying him, but when you look on the cap friendly, it's not against the cap like a normal buyout would be.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah.
wow, that's
Mm-hmm.
interesting. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was trivia, folks. Thank you to Colin for the wonderful questions. He'll be up to bat on
You're
our next
welcome.
podcast. let's get into some hockey talk. We have a lot to go over. There's news.
Yeah.
Our teams each played their first games. A couple teams
Hmm.
embarrassed themselves on opening night.
Yeah.
Let's start off with the Oilers. Let's start off with them.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I don't know. I'm assuming you didn't stay up until 1 o'clock to watch the Oilers game like I did. I have the
No.
most input to give there, and since I already made a video on it, I'm just going to kind of get it out of the way. But I will break down what happened to you because, good God, I'll be on. As Ottawa has scored again, it is a 2-0 hockey game.
Yeah.
Ooh, Toronto. A
Yeah.
second straight loss to Ottawa in the first 3 games of the year. 2 years in a row now. Damn. That could be
Hmm.
on the verge for the Leafs. Back to the Oilers. Um, so last night had to be one of the best games I've seen in my life. It was freaking awesome. It was stressful, but it was awesome. Oilers come out in the first period. They look dreadful in the first part of it. They cannot make a pass. They just can't do anything. But eventually they get a groove on, and of course, it's my favorite player, Jesse Puljujärvi, who scores the first goal of the night, makes it 1-0. Second period comes along. The Oilers starting to really connect well, really figuring things out. And on the power play, Zach Hyman scores his first goal as an Edmonton Oiler to make it 2-0. And going into the third, I'm full of confidence. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. As Colin is talking with presumably a parent of his. Anyways, he's back. As I was mentioning, the third period comes. I'm full of confidence. And then 8 minutes left, OEL scores, shooting it off of Nuge's stick. Everything's fine. It's still a nice lead. 3 minutes left. Quinn Hughes from the wall. It bounces in a little corner. Mike Smith leaves open, and we have a tie game. And I'm thinking, well, looks like we're going to get back to right where we left off in Game 4 against Winnipeg, blowing leads. We go through overtime. Back and forth, 5 minutes of mayhem. And the craziest part is I honestly don't know how we did not lose in overtime. Our third unit in overtime was Jesse Puljujärvi, which is good, and Kyle Turris. This man looked past, like, I think he looked past Yamamoto, he looked past Warren Fogle and said, "No, Kyle Turris is my guy." As Toronto
Mm.
have now allowed a third goal to the Senators, it is now 3-0. Peter Mrazek in his first game has allowed 3 goals on 11 shots in the first period alone. I cannot get through talking about this Oilers game before the Senators score again.
Yeah.
Um
Jeez.
anyways, Kyle Turris out there in overtime. The Oilers don't score. We head to a shootout, and in the in the third round, I think it was Nuge that scored a nice goal, but then I think it was like, I don't even remember who it was. I think it was Horvat
Yeah.
who made it up. Kyle Turris goes out 5th in the shootout. Turris goes out before Hyman, before Puljujärvi, before Warren Fogle, before Kelly Yamamoto, before Darnell Nurse, and scores. Kyle Turris scores. And then Tanner Pearson's up to bat, and he can't beat Mike Smith. And the Edmonton Oilers, on the back of Kyle Turris somehow, win their first game of the
Wow.
year 3-2 in a shootout. They played like shit in the third, but
Hmm.
what an entertaining game to watch. That was a fun game to
Hmm.
watch. I enjoyed the whole thing. Um, so yeah, any thoughts on some of the stuff I just told you? What do you think of Zach Hyman already scoring with the Oilers?
Like it just, yeah, you like to see it, but you also hate to see it
You
at the
hate
same time.
you hate to see him already. Like, if he waited a
Yeah.
little bit to do like this, then oh well. But
Hmm.
come on, first game he's already scoring. He looks like
Yeah.
he was phenomenal last night. Easily
Hmm.
player of the night. Like,
Yeah.
every compliment Leafs fans gave him, he lived up to last night because he was on spot, like around in the corners, no one could stop him. In front of the net, no one can stop him. he was fast as hell. I did not know he was that fast. He like
Yeah.
just drove and got around defenders like twice, two breakaways that night, where he just moved in and around. Phenomenal player, great pickup. And honestly, I'm excited to see what he can do.
Hmm.
Man, I'm excited. We play Calgary on Saturday. Battle of Alberta. I would love to see us kick their asses just out the gate.
Hmm.
But we'll have to see how it plays out. Now, I'm feeling we can move on to the Leafs now. I've talked
Yep.
about how good my team's done. So now we can talk about how your team's done.
Yeah, it was
You watched the
the
game last
first
night,
game.
right? You watched the
Yeah.
game last night. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, from you, a clear analyst perspective, break down last night's game. What what went well? What went wrong?
Are like okay, I'm just gonna like do like pros and cons kind of things, like whatever. I'm not. It's probably gonna be like all over the place, but whatever. So Jack Campbell was easily our best player and easily our best penalty killer. No question. He won us that game. He played so well.
Yep.
I'm surprised he wasn't playing tonight. He might come in
Well,
later
it was a
tonight
back
in
to
tonight's
back.
game, but
It was a
yeah, it
back
was.
to back.
But
You
hmm
probably don't want him playing the two games off the bat unless you
yeah, probably
absolutely have
not.
to.
hmm And then I really like Michael Bunting. He crashed in the Habs game, was getting pushed, whatever. He did not care. He kept digging. And even in tonight's game already, he went straight to the net, digging.
Mhm.
I really like Michael Bunting. Nick Ritchie is gonna be very good in front of the net. I think on our second goal, he was just like in front of the net, just in front of the goalie, which is really nice.
Mhm.
And yeah, and you like to see Pierre Engvall getting those good shots at the end of the game. That was kind of risky where he shot it and then missed the net for an icing, and it was a face off in our zone. That was kind of weird, but
I think too big of a deal's being made out of that. It
yeah,
happens
probably.
every time there's an
Yeah,
empty net. Happens at least once a game. Like
yeah.
you're lucky if it doesn't happen.
hmm And then probably like our defense, I found was like a little like all over the place, and I was like, no, I was like, whatever.
What did you think of the start?
The start, the puck, I just noticed the puck was just bouncing a lot. Like I just like it was bouncing all over the place. We couldn't do much really in the first period.
Yeah. Well, I watched the game and I really didn't watch the first, so I can't really
Hmm.
say how bad it was, but I did not hear a lot of good things about how the
Hmm.
Leafs played. They came out flat from the way I heard it described. Now, I thought that they did really clutch up in that third and play well
Hmm.
to be able to hold on to that game. That being said, I mean, listen, it's game one. Obviously, it's way too early to say anything.
Oh yeah.
However, look at the two rosters that were iced in Toronto last night. Look at Toronto. Look at who they have. Look at Montreal. Look at who they have. I don't care which one of them just went to the finals and which one of them didn't. Even without Austin Matthews, this should not have been a challenge.
No.
This shouldn't have been a difficult game. This should have been a
Mm-mm.
game where Toronto was able to come out and get a comfortable in my opinion, 3-1 win. They could have gotten something
Yeah.
like that. They started
Hmm.
poorly and they just
Hmm.
couldn't get that rhythm, and I think that that's a big red flag.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting here, we're watching Ottawa, who aren't even playing Matt Murray tonight. It's Anton Forsberg in net. We're watching the Ottawa Senators without Brady Tkachuk as well. Their best forward in the lineup beat Toronto 3-0 in the first. It's the first. It's 3-0.
Hmm.
Like what like ah
Hmm.
how do you let that happen? How do you
Yeah.
it's a really rough start
Yeah.
for Toronto, and you have to hope they can pick it back up. I mean,
Hmm.
they get Ottawa again on Saturday. So
Yeah.
if you lose to Ottawa here, you have another chance, but again, look at the rosters. Even without Austin,
Hmm.
no question who's better.
Yeah.
But and man, I think hopefully Toronto isn't that team that just plays down the competition. They could
Mm-mm.
really end up being that, especially with how they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on your team? Any other things you might want to throw out there about how they did?
Uh, Not really. Like Campbell was just so good.
I
He
know
just
Campbell was great.
he played so good in the first. He was our easy or probably our best player in every single period.
No one can doubt that he is the starting goalie for this team, especially with how
Oh
Peters
yeah.
played in game one. There is a
In the first
starting.
period.
Yep, there's a starting goalie, and there's not, and then there's a backup goalie at this moment.
hmm
Uh,
And there's a guy that like supports him. Maybe Mrazek plays like 30 games or whatever. Something like that I feel like would be good.
unless of course Michael Hutchinson shocks the world and ends up being really good,
Yeah,
or
probably not, but
something like that. That would be fun. That would be fun. Remember when Hutchinson got a shutout last year? He got more
yeah.
shutouts for the Leafs last year than Peter Mrazek did. Trust in Hutch. Trust the Hutch. I have a hinge. A hinge? Oh, I messed that up. Anyways, moving on now. Moving on. Let's move away from our teams at least for a little bit, and switch up to some of the other things that happened last night in the NHL. Actually, we'll go over the past couple of nights. Obviously, we were here for the first period of Pittsburgh Tampa live
hmm
during the podcast. Tampa ends up losing that game 6-2. But three of those goals were empty net goals, so take that for what you will. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, with Tampa's net empty, they actually scored 2 goals and only allowed 3. So they played
hmm
better with their net empty than with a goalie in net. Um, Not a good start for the Cup champs, but you have to remember they are tired. They probably don't have as much energy, and they say it
hmm
themselves. They don't really care what happens in the regular season. If they make it, it's fine. They'll do whatever they need to then.
Yeah.
And then the Seattle Kraken debut, go down
hmm
3-0, and then come back to tie the game just to lose.
Yeah.
Oh no, Seattle. I hope that this is not a telling picture for what your franchise will become. Like, imagine we just look back 10 years and we're like, man, that first game really does summarize what ended up happening.
Oh God.
It's kind of like with the Leafs, how it's like we look back on 2013, it's like, oh yeah, that was just the beginning. Now everything
Yeah.
just that's just how things are.
Yep.
Um okay, I'm sorry. I'm just watching Wayne Gretzky shoot against
Yeah.
Charles Barkley. That's
hmm
boy. Okay, let's get to
Yeah.
last night. Obviously, Canada kicked off. The Ducks, the other Canadian team that played were the Winnipeg Jets, and Mason McTavish scored. Now, if you don't know
hmm
who Mason McTavish is, a Peterborough Pete player, drafted third overall by the Ducks. I'm from Peterborough, so go McTavish, go. He scored last night, and the Ducks beat the Jets 4-1. How's that 4-game sweep over Edmonton feeling now? You've lost a regular season game. My revenge has been exacted, and I haven't even beaten you myself. Anyway, so yeah, the Ducks, they didn't look bad from what I heard, so that's good to see. And then we get to, in my opinion, the two most telling moments of the night. Um, First things first, and actually both games were broadcasted on TNT, and they're the first two games to be put on TNT. First, we have Rangers Capitals. The Capitals won 5-1. Hey, New York, did Ryan Reeves help you last night? What about Barclay
Hmm.
Goodrow? All those
Yeah.
guys you spent all that money on because you needed to get better when it came to grit. You didn't. No one even fought Tom Wilson last night.
No,
Like
like
it literally did nothing. So
yeah.
I hope it was worth it.
Yeah.
I really hope it was worth it. Ovi had 2 goals and 2 assists. He
hmm
was a game time decision, mind you. He was not even. It wasn't even known if he was going to play. He comes in and scores 4 points, and he's now the fifth highest goal scorer in NHL history, and he is 10 goals away
hmm
from fourth. So expect him to do the thing. Also, Buffalo seems to have scored on Montreal at least once, which means Buffalo has scored more goals this year than they did last. Um, the other telling game that I just need to point out because of one moment that is hilarious to me. Colorado beats Chicago 5-1. Jack Johnson scored a breakaway goal last night. And it was actually a beautiful goal. Like, alone, with no one around him. Deking like he's Crosby and McDavid with serum. As we hear the screams of terror in the background. Um, he scores a breakaway goal top corner on Marc-Andre Fleury. Who, I mean, listen, all goalies have rough games, I know, but man, what a shot. I'm just not, I don't know if I should be surprised about the fact that the goalie that didn't want to go to Chicago and questioned even playing for them had probably one of the more bad games in his career on opening night. Definitely the worst opening night of his career in the city he just
Yeah.
happened to not play in. Watch, Chicago are going to completely rob and letter him. They're just going to have him. They're not going to do good. And then they're going to trade him away for like a third at the deadline. And then he's going to go on and like win a cup or something. Because that's just
Yeah.
how this works. Man, imagine the reaction if Fleury gets traded back to the Penguins, like at the deadline or something like that.
Ooh. Ooh. That could be a possibility.
That would
If
be a
If Chicago just goes downhill and they
yeah.
just
I mean, I think the Penguins are going to be solid this year. I mean, they just beat Tampa Bay without Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, and Jake Gensel. I forgot to mention he
yeah,
wasn't playing either. So literally, not just their
just
top three forwards, but like they are the forwards. So their entire forward
yeah.
core was out. And on the backs of Brian Boyle, Danton Heinen, like who was the other random guy that scored? There was another guy. I don't even remember who it
Uh
was. They're just no names. They just scored. They didn't even need like a Kapanen or a Zucker. They just did it with
no.
fourth liners.
Yeah. Like
Like, and they managed to win against
yeah.
Tampa. Tristan
Like
Jarry didn't suck that much. He
yeah.
was not great, but he didn't suck.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so some interesting stuff unfolding. But again, it's only one game in, so I don't really think we can put a ton of stock into it. Um,
Yeah.
So you know what? Let's get into some news because we had some extensions and some signings today. Brady Tkachuk has
It
signed a 7-year deal at a ridiculous price.
yeah, too much.
At a redonkulous price. He makes
Yep.
500 grand more than Svetch does. He
Yeah,
signs
that's
7 years at $8,205,714 per year. I don't like the number, but at the same time, I don't think that you can underestimate why they did this. They did this for a reason. They
hmm
had to. If they lost Brady, they lose the franchise pretty much. So
yeah.
you got to keep him around.
Yeah.
In other news, Matthias Ekholm, and this was really quiet. I don't think a lot of people picked up on this just
Yeah.
because of what yesterday was. 4-year extension at $6.25 million. Thoughts?
Wait, did you say 4 years at 6 point something million?
6.25.
Okay. My thoughts on this are just why? Because Nashville's slowly turning into like that San Jose of where they need to get that rebuild, but they're just saying no.
They're
And they just signed this guy, this defenseman, to a 4 year, 6 million deal.
we're paying Matt Duchene and Ryan Johansson $16 million. We can do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's why they're trying to go for it because they know they can't
Mm-hmm.
rebuild. How do you rebuild when you have
Yeah.
those two contracts there? You can't. So you kind of
Yeah.
have to go for it. I mean,
Yeah.
they made the playoffs last year and they weren't supposed to, so who
Yeah.
knows? Um
hmm
in other news, Nick Suzuki signs an extension, an
Oh
8-year
yeah.
deal, 7.8 1.75. You're paying him to be Patrice Bergeron, and while he
Yeah.
might end up being Patrice Bergeron, he has not yet shown he's Patrice Bergeron.
No, that's just,
We're paying a lot of players here for what they could be, and also
yeah, not smart.
with
I don't
Nick
like it.
with Nick Suzuki here in this situation, the cap for the Canadians looks weird for next year because, let me just double check this here. Um, they are currently they are currently they currently are already over the salary cap for next year, meaning they're gonna have to make moves or something. They're
Yeah, they
literally
just,
they're literally too much over, and they also have not placed Shea Weber on long-term injury reserve yet, which is weird to me. Why haven't you done
yeah,
that? You weird people. I think it's because they don't have to. I think because with Carey Price on the player assistance program, that kind of fixed up all the cap problems that they have.
yeah.
Also, by the way, Samuel Montembeault is the goalie playing for
Oh, yeah.
Montreal tonight in Buffalo. And just to get a quick score check here from around the league, because I can. The Sabres are up 2-0 on the Canadiens. 2-0 lead. The Panthers are beating the Penguins 1-0. The Blue Jackets beating the Coyotes 2-0. An offensive explosion from the Blue Jackets, 2 goals in 1 period. Mesmerizing. The Lightning are indeed beating the Red Wings, and the Hurricanes are beating the Islanders. And Stars are beating the Rangers as well, because why not, New York? Just lose to everyone you play.
hmm
Just lose
The
to them.
one thing, yeah, one thing I really like that Buffalo is doing, the one thing I like that they're doing is their players get to choose their own goal songs.
It's so
I
minute.
just, I just love this. Like,
Yeah, it's such a
like,
minute thing, but like it's good.
yeah, because it's like baseball, like home run songs.
Mm-hmm.
Every player gets their own.
Yep,
Don't know
and
why
walk-up
every
songs.
team doesn't have this. Yeah, I don't know why every team doesn't have this
Probably
already.
probably because it would be a little bit. You'd probably have to do a lot more mechanical work. It's easier to hit one button when it's just
Yeah,
there than have to have 20 different buttons. Um,
yeah,
but hey, who cares? It really doesn't matter. One more
yeah.
extension to talk about here, really quickly. And in my
Okay.
opinion, again, it's out of the New York Islanders, and oh my God, does this team know how to do general managing things?
Uncle Lou.
Ryan Pulock signs an 8-year extension in the Island at 6.15 million.
Oh,
He's
oh.
like one of the top defensemen in the league, and he's making
Mm.
6.15 million.
Yeah.
How? How did he do this?
Yeah, I don't understand how he didn't get like 8 million or like 9 million like everyone else.
Adam Pelech and Ryan Pulock are two of the best defensemen in the league, and both
Mhm.
of them make under $6.5 million next year, and for like 6 or 7 years to follow. I don't understand how he's this good. You can't kill him. You can't. He won't
Yeah.
die. He won't die. Oh my god. And next year they have cap room too. Next year, but do they have to re-sign people? Actually, you take a look at the cap chart for New York, and next year they're an underrated team that could make a move, in my opinion. When you look at their salary, they currently
Yeah.
have. I don't know if this accounts for injury, if this has like injury involved or not, but right now their cap hit stands at 60. They have $66.6 million next year on the books. And you look at the guys who they have as free agents. Cal Clutterbuck, he's not gonna want 3.5 million like he did this year. Komarov's not gonna want 3. He probably won't come back. Parise
Mm-mm.
probably won't want 750 if he comes back. Bellows might want a bit more depending on how much he plays. Um, Ross Johnson, no more than 1 million. Dobson's gonna want a bit of a raise,
hmm
probably at least up into the high twos, maybe low threes. Um, but
Yeah.
even if you add all that up, they still have about $10 million to play with. Like
Yeah, like that's
Imagine they go for a star next year. I don't even know who the stars next year are. Imagine they go
Oh
for a free
man.
agent though. Who are the free
I
agents
th
next year?
I'm trying to think. Is that no, it's not Kane. I think Kane's the year after next year. I don't know.
Malkin's up next year.
Oh
Giroud.
yeah.
Um, I don't know if they'd be in the market for a goalie. Probably not, because Varlamov will still be under contract. But Fleury, Bergeron. Oh, Bergeron would be a perfect fit there,
Uh-huh.
wouldn't he?
Oh man.
He's not leaving Boston, but he would be a perfect fit.
No.
Um,
Yeah.
I think Gio's gonna stay in Seattle, but who knows?
Hmm.
Radulov, he's a veteran that'll be up.
Oh yeah.
Philip Forsberg could be a guy that I feel just
Yeah.
fits in there. Thomas Hurdle is up next year. That's going to be an interesting
Oh.
player to watch. There are some interesting guys that are going to be up next year,
Yeah.
and some teams that,
Thomas, yeah.
yeah, and some teams that are going to have money to make moves.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
it's
yeah.
it's definitely going to be interesting.
Hmm. Thomas Hurdle is like so underrated, offensively and defensively.
Yep.
I think he goes to Boston this year, and if he doesn't, don't really know what Boston's doing because that guy would be so perfect for a second line center on their team.
Oh my gosh,
Boston,
the next
I
he'd literally be David Krejci. As a
yeah.
matter of fact, I think he was born in the same country as David Krejci. He's literally David
Yeah,
Krejci. I'm gonna
yeah,
do
but you know, just like not getting paid 7.5 million or 7 million or
mean,
whatever.
hey, he's a second line center. You do what you have to. Oh, Anton Forsberg with the glove save.
Oh, and that's frustrating. That is very
I
frustrating.
can't even figure out how to spell David Krejci.
Oh, and there's a TikTok symbol on the Leafs
Oh
helmet.
yes, they're sponsored by TikTok now.
And the Leafs actually became the first $2 billion, I think, or the like something like that, NHL franchise.
Oh wow, that's cool. Yeah,
Hmm.
everyone cares about how much money the Toronto Maple Leafs have, eh? And yes, I was right about Hurdle. He is from the Czech Republic, so is Krejci. So it's literally David
Well,
Krejci 2.0. Him,
yeah.
him and Taylor Hall on a line would be fun.
Hmm.
Put whoever you want with them. Craig Smith, like I don't know, Nick
Yeah.
Foligno,
Like it wouldn't matter.
Nick
Like it literally would
Foligno,
not matter.
Nick Foligno, please, please, please.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for Nick Foligno to win in Game 7 over the Leafs. I cannot wait for the winning goal. I can see it in my head already. Who would be like the okay, like we're thinking about I need to look at Boston's roster. What would be the most painful play for them to beat the Leafs with? What would be the most
Uh,
painful play?
God, I'm trying to think. I think Austin Matthews or like Mitch Marner just like okay. I think it'd be Mitch Marner passes the puck to Austin Matthews, suicide pass. Austin Matthews suicide pass, and then you get Nick Foligno coming up the ice, breaks Marner's ankles in OT, game 7. Or
Okay,
actually, no, final seconds of the game. And comes in and then just does like a between the legs or like a one-hander on Jack Campbell.
okay, I came up with it. This is all fantasy, and it will never happen. But this is my most painful way for the Leafs to lose. It's triple overtime of Game 7. The score is 0-0. No one has scored. Jack Campbell has made like 77 saves or something stupid like that. He's been great.
Mhm.
Austin Matthews gets a breakaway alone, and he's stopped by Tuukka Rask, who signs with the Bruins right before the trade deadline after he heals up. He, instead of covering up the puck, hands it over to other trade deadline acquisition of the Boston Bruins, Jake
Hey,
Gardner.
Gardner.
Jake Gardner. Jake
I knew
Gardner.
it.
Hold on. Where's the pain? Where's the most pain possible? Jake Gardner
Mm.
passes the puck back and forth with Charlie McAvoy a bit because let's keep something realistic here. Um, and then oh man, no. I have to remember former Toronto Maple Leafs. I got it. No.
JVR,
I got it. Hold on. No.
Kadri.
Shut up. Shut up. Just shut up for a sec. I have it. I was just thinking about it. Gardner has the puck. He passes it up to Patrice Bergeron. Bergeron walks in the zone, passes it over to Nick Foligno, who shoots it on net, and it gets tipped in by Joe Thornton, who is traded to the Bruins at the deadline, and it's a 1-0 win for the Boston Bruins over the Leafs in Game 7. Or you can just have, like, I don't know, Jake DeBrusk, Bergeron,
Yeah.
Marchand, Chara
Yeah.
can come back if they wanted
Yeah.
to. I don't know.
James Ryan, James Reimer, and Tuukka Rask and Jonathan Bernier both split the game. They all play.
Yeah, just they get all the goalies at the deadline.
hmm
Just have Jeremy Swayman there as well with
Yeah.
Ullmark as well.
Why
Oh, what
not?
a robbery by Peter Mrazek. Toe
Nice.
save. Holy gosh!
Oof.
Oh my goodness, Toronto! What are you doing? You're still needing to get. The Sens have had 2 shots in the first 5 minutes of the period only. Only 3. Sorry, they have 3 now. They have 14
Wow.
shots and 3 goals. Meanwhile, the Leafs are currently getting goalied by Anton Forsberg.
Winterman Forsberg.
Anton Forsberg. How does it feel? Genuinely, how does it feel to get goalied by Anton Forsberg?
It's not good.
You're not even getting goalied by, like, a good goalie. You're getting goalied
No,
by
it's Antoine
Anton
Forsberg.
Forsberg. Like, what are
Like
you
this is
doing?
Yeah, like this is when you're noticing like the leadership is missing right now. We're missing that leadership right now. We're missing Austin Matthews. This is when you can just tell
Yes,
that
you're missing your greatest leader. You're missing the guy who 1 week after the season ended was seen all smiles with Justin Bieber and the Kid Leroy at UFC events. Yeah, that's the leadership you're missing, you know? Jake Muzzin,
well,
John Tavares, they pale in comparison to that guy who couldn't even bother to tell the team that he got charged for flashing his ass to a female in Arizona back in 2019. Yep, that's what
uh-huh.
we're missing.
Well, I wasn't talking about like Austin Matthews' leadership. I was talking about like Nick Foligno and like Joe Thornton's leadership. I was talking about like we're missing Austin Matthews.
Mhm. Did you ever get around to watching the Amazon documentary, or do I have to
Uh,
pester you to watch it again? Oh,
you probably have to ask me to watch it again.
well, you're gonna have to. I'll ask you to watch it, please. Hopefully, you'll
Yeah,
actually get around
I'll.
to it this time.
I've seen like I think I watched or seen some of it.
Hmm.
It's like
It seems like a good documentary about how the Leafs just
yeah.
literally had everything going for them, but still couldn't find a way. I think what it's
Uh-huh.
meant to do is just raise the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Leafs are just not doing this whole hockey thing well.
No.
This is oh boy, ooh Engvall. You can tell it's pretty. You can tell it's like right after the regular season starts because it's still pretty sloppy. And
Yeah.
I think that might be a Leaf penalty, but I'm not sure.
I think it's a really wow, it looked like he got tripped there, if anything.
I don't know. There might be a penalty, but we'll have to see.
I'm pretty sure Justin Hall got a penalty, but it looked like some guy slid into him. So
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's any other big stories here, to address. Not sure that there is. I feel like we've covered
no.
a lot of the ground. I mean, oh yeah, we forgot to talk about something I teased on the last podcast. We were gonna talk about how The Rock is a rapper now.
Oh
I
yeah.
remember I mentioned that. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yeah, I did. I saw a little bit of it.
The Rock is now a rapper. He was on a song with Tech Nine called Face Off, and
Yeah.
I think the best way to describe it is I got this off TikTok, but it is the best way to describe it. Think of Protein as a rap song. Think of just like sitting in the gym and just pumping like a set of weights up and down for like 5 minutes
Yeah.
straight with no breaks and just going over all and on. That's what his verse
Yeah.
is. It's just
Yeah.
pure testosterone, like pure power,
Mhm.
nothing else. Um, it was funny, but yeah.
Mhm.
Um, Yeah, anything else going on here? Let's just check the scoreboard, see if something crazy's happening. Twitter did not give me a lot. It's now 3-1 in Columbus against the Coyotes. Wow. They're really going for an offensive showdown in that one. Jeez. Calm down. Calm down with the goals. By God almighty. As we get a replay. And, okay, I think that might be Muzzin to the box.
Oh
It
yeah,
is. The,
that's a.
the shove on the guy. Yeah, I think that
Okay, yeah,
they
yeah.
they
That's a
did
not a
change
good. I don't like it.
they did change the cross-checking rule, so I think that's
Yeah,
that you're trying to stomp down on that a little bit, but
yeah, yeah. But
yeah.
that was not. He didn't touch him.
Don't worry, I
He
don't
well, he touched him, but
yeah.
like,
I was about to say don't worry about Ottawa's power play, but they have already scored tonight. So worry about Ottawa's power
yeah,
play for me.
yeah. On one shot, I think.
On one shot it just said that. Yep. Let's see. Anything? Oh, that's an open man. Oh, that's a nice save. Oh, that's a close chance. Boy, look at all the blue. Look at all the blue in Ottawa in
Yeah.
their crowd. You know, you'd think after not even a pandemic can keep the Ottawa Senators fans caring about the Ottawa Senators.
hmm
Not even the pandemic can do
Brody
it.
lost his stick, and I think it was Comp that gave him his stick.
Drake Batherson out in front to Tyler Ennis, who's on the top power play unit.
Oh God,
Oh,
okay.
you, Tyler Ennis, please score on the Leafs. Please do it.
Oh, that was close.
Memes. I like. I
He already scored tonight. I think that's enough.
do it. Hat trick. Hat trick Ennis. Hat trick Ennis. Make it so the Oilers think that you're good enough to trade for
Nice
at the deadline
block.
again. Come on, you can do it. You did it once. You can trick the Oilers into doing it again. Oh my God, the Leafs cannot clear. That shot is a rifle. My God. Okay, well, I feel like at this point we're just sitting here doing what we were doing before, but we're not even live.
Yeah.
So like, yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
I think we're just gonna leave this here before we just commentate this game that you've already watched.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching this episode of the podcast. I hope you all enjoyed.
Bye.
We're not leaving yet. The outro.
I know, but like,
We're doing an outro here, dude.
yeah,
You've been
that's
with me for like 10 episodes and you haven't learned a thing. That's it, folks. That's all that we got for you today. We really hope that you enjoyed. We should be back at some point next week with another episode of the podcast. We'll be able to talk about some more games, talk about some more things. The season's back on, so it's going to be a little bit
Yep.
less just words. It's actually going to be meaningful stuff, but probably not because, let's face it, we thought today would be
No.
like that, and we just spent the last 10 minutes commentating a hockey game. If you did enjoy, like, subscribe, you know, the whole shebang, everything normal. And yeah, make sure to also check out my channel. I did my reaction to the Oilers video last night oh boy, that's a close shot. Checked out my reaction last night to Oilers Canucks. Pretty good game to talk about. Thank you all for watching. Colin is going to go have several heart attacks while watching this game, and I'm going to laugh at the Leafs' misery a little bit more. It's my favorite pastime. Thank you all for watching. We will see you all on the next one. Goodbye for now.
Bye.